It doesn't get more villainous than a serial killer. My name's Judy and welcome to a new video. So I am so excited about this video because I love a good villainous character, and I feel like my glass here is very fitting for this video. Like, I feel like it is the vibes, and I have my dagger earrings, so I am ticking all the boxes for the aesthetic right now. So go and grab yourself a drink of choice and get comfortable, because today I have some book recommendations for you where she is the villain. And I love this. I love a good villain character, morally grey, just such a good vibe. So we have 7 books here that I'm going to talk about. Now, I think 2 of these I haven't actually read before, but I know that the main character is considered like a villain and is villainous. So yeah, I guess let's jump straight into it. So if you do like a book where the main character is a villain, keep watching this video. The first one we have is a favourite of mine. This is The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. This is a romantic fantasy. Well, it is fantasy, but it's also kind of like not, because there isn't really any magic in here. But this is also a really good book to read if you are looking to get into the fantasy genre, especially romantic fantasy. I feel like this is the perfect place to start. The world is super easy, and it is just such a good book. This book is full of tension, full of enemies to lovers vibes, and I love it so much. This is one of the best books I've ever read, and I always recommend it. So our main character Laura is a warrior princess, and she is sent to marry King Aaron of the Bridge Kingdom by her father. Her father is a tyrant. He is a very horrible man, and he essentially has abused her and her sisters and kind of tortured them, trained them into becoming brutal assassins, and she ends up being the one who is gonna go and marry this king. And then, so that is her plan. She is gonna marry him, and then she is gonna kill him. So we love that for her. But when she gets there, she discovers that there is many things she didn't know. We have a big conspiracy in here, and we also have enemies to lovers because they hate each other, but they slowly start to fall for each other. There is betrayal, there is angst, there is a bit of spice, there is love, chemistry, action, all of the good things. Honestly, if you like assassins, if you like enemies to lovers, if you like a little bit of political intrigue, you will love this book. I was obsessed with it. I listened to this on audio, and I have to say this is probably the best audiobook I've ever listened to. It has sound effects, and my god, when I was like listening to both the first and second book, I was on the edge of my seat. Like, I cannot even begin to explain. So go and read this book. I promise you will love it. But our main gal is definitely very villainous, and I love her. So next we have one of my all-time favorites, which is the Mindfuck series by St. Abbey. So this is a collection of 5 books bound into one. They're all like around 100 pages each, maybe a little bit less, maybe a bit more. I cannot recommend this enough. This is one of the best stories I've ever read, and it is very gruesome, and there are a lot of trigger warnings for this, but this is a very revenge driven story. And if you love books where the main plot is revenge and you get that sense of satisfaction from said character getting revenge, getting justice, whether that be through legal means or not. So this book is essentially about an FBI agent who is hunting a serial killer, and he is currently falling in love with this woman who is actually the serial killer he's hunting. So this is so fun. It is so good. So our main character, I can't remember her name. I'm pretty sure it's Lara. It doesn't actually say on the back. It's been a few years since I read this. Oh, it's Lana, I think. Maybe Lana. I was close. So she is a very complex character. She has gone through an extremely horrific ordeal, and everyone thinks she's dead. She has taken someone's identity, and she is hell-bent on getting revenge against these guys who wronged her. So each kind of story kind of follows her getting her revenge in very brutal and gory ways, but as she should. If you read this book you will understand. And essentially she is hunting them down one by one and killing them. And then we have Logan, who is the FBI agent who's trying to track down the serial killer. They assume it's a man because our main character is very clever and has covered her tracks and made it look like it's a man. And they meet each other, and even though she knows she shouldn't, they start to fall for one another. He doesn't know that she is the serial killer. And that is kind of the basic plot of this book. This is just, I can't even, like, I've never had a reading experience like it. It is truly an incredible book. It is part thriller, part mystery, part revenge, part romance, part dark romance. Honestly, this is a serial killer romance essentially, but we support women's wrongs in this book, and if you've read it you will totally understand why. I cannot even begin to explain how incredible this series is, and if you check out the trigger warnings first and you think you're okay to read it, go and read it. Honestly, you won't regret it. This is just so good. I can't even. It doesn't get more villainous than a serial killer. So next is a book I haven't actually read yet, but I know this one is definitely villainous and she is definitely the villain, if it's not obvious by the title, because this is quite literally called Ruthless Villains. These characters are as morally grey as they come. This is a romantasy, and my god am I excited to read this one. This is also, I think, enemies to lovers, and in this world everyone kind of shares their power equally. Everyone's kind of got the same power abilities except for dark mages, who are like, absolutely not, like, I want all the power, give it to me now. And our characters in here are those dark mages. So our main character Audrey is one of these dark mages. She is a poison mage, and it says on the back she can bring men to their knees with a flick of her wrist. So I mean, I already love her, I cannot lie. But the one man she wants to kill is very hard to kill, who is her enemy and also a dark mage named Callan. But he would also like to kill her, so the feeling is definitely mutual. But unfortunately their mutual hate and bloodlust for one another will have to be put on hold, because the remaining heroic champions of equality are basically preparing to launch an attack on the dark mages. And obviously they're like, absolutely not. So they end up kind of having to work together in order to remain the dark, morally grey mages that they are. And they are definitely not the heroes of this story, and they fall in love the wrong way. And she is a villain to her core. She will kill anyone who gets in her way. She wants all the power. And I just can't wait to read this. I have heard so many good things about this book. If you have read it, please let me know your thoughts. But it doesn't get more villainous than that, honestly. Like, I'm obsessed with them. Like, I mean, come on, just look at them. Look at them. I'm obsessed. So next we have To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. I read this many years ago and I loved it. This was such a good read, and essentially our main character has a heart for every single year she's been alive. So she's got 17 hearts locked in this chest, so I think that qualifies her as a villain. And we basically follow Princess Lyra. She is like revered throughout the Sea Kingdom, and she is royalty, but then she's cast to the human world by the evil Sea Queen, and in order to return back to the Siren world she has to get the heart of the Siren killer, who obviously is killing a lot of their people. Otherwise she's going to be cast to the human world forever and never be able to return. And one day said prince rescues a drowning woman, not knowing it is Princess Lyra, and she is planning to kill him and steal his heart so she can go home. But along the way they fall in love even though they are enemies, and this was just such a good book. Cannot recommend this enough. Such a good morally grey romance, but it's like morally grey in a different way, and I just love this so much. Like, the romance was just stunning, the setting, everything about it, amazing. I highly recommend this. It is young adult from what I remember, and there is no spice in this one, but I loved it. So good. I need to reread this book because it has been a long time, but I still can remember my visceral reactions to this book to this day. So I feel like that really does speak for how good this book is. Next we have a very well-known morally grey, enemies to lovers, villainous story, and that is The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. Now granted I gave this 3 stars, so it is not a favourite, but I can appreciate it for how villainous our main character is, how murderous she is, and how morally grey and dark this is. Especially for a young adult fantasy, it is very dark, and I did really enjoy everything about this book. There was just one specific thing in here that I just could not get behind, which is what made me give it 3 stars. But this is a really fun, entertaining read, and I feel like if I just read you the opening line, you will totally agree that this is one of the most villainous female main characters you will ever meet. They've never found the body of the first and only boy who broke my heart, and they never will. Like, come on now. That is just the epitome of villainous. Like, I love her. Essentially, our main character, Alessandra, is a daughter of this lord or something, I can't remember, and in this society women are always married off and all of that. She's like, absolutely not me. She likes to have fun. There's definitely a lot of feminist vibes in here. She just wants equality for women. Like, she wants women to be able to just like sleep around, do whatever they want the same way that men do without being shamed. And she is the definition of girl boss, to be honest. Like, she does not care, and she will kill a man if she has to, as the first line proves. So anyway, she is going to try and woo the Shadow King. He is notorious. He does not let anyone near him. He is now at the age where he needs a wife. His family were killed, and he is just very, very standoffish with everyone. So she comes up with a plan, essentially to just not be like other girls, but in like a really cool, not like sarky way. Like, it is so good the way she does it. And she enters his court, she catches his eye, they kind of like fake date and come up with like an agreement, but along the way they fall in love. But for most of this book, she is just planning to kill him. Like, that is her main goal, is to kill him and steal his throne. So yeah, it is really, really fun. I really did enjoy this, and this is one of the most like villainous, morally grey characters I've ever read, especially in a young adult fantasy. And I honestly love Alessandra. Like, I get it. I get it. Okay, so next is one that I haven't read again, but I know that this character is always described as villainous, and I cannot wait to read this book. It has been on my TBR for quite some time now, and I don't know why I still haven't read it, because I know I'm gonna love it. I think the main thing is because it's a space opera, and I've never really read space opera before, but maybe this will be the first space opera I read, and maybe I will love it. Who knows? But that is Iron Widow by Jian Zhao, and I cannot wait to read this one. This just sounds incredible. So I'm going to read some of the synopsis so you guys get a sense of the vibes, because like I said, I haven't read this and I want to make sure I do it justice. Also, like, just look at our female character. Doesn't she look like a bad bitch? Honestly, obsessed with her already. So basically we have a great war, and we have these giant transforming robots that battle these aliens, essentially. And there's female co-pilots who are expected to serve as concubines and sacrifice their lives. But then we have our main character who offers herself up as a concubine pilot, and their plan is basically to assassinate the ace male pilot responsible for her sister's death. Like, I love a story where the main character's whole purpose is just to kill a man. And I don't know what that says about me, because I do not wish to kill a man in real life, but reading about it, so fun. So fun. But yeah, basically she miraculously emerges from the cockpit unscathed after her first battle, and she's declared an Iron Widow, the most feared pilot of them all. And now she has a taste of power, she sets her sights on bigger things. The time has come to stop more girls from being sacrificed. The Handmaid's Tale meets Pacific Rim in this dazzling blend of Chinese history and mecha science fiction. So yes, this sounds incredible. It sounds like unlike anything I've ever read, and honestly, I need to bump this with my TBR. I cannot wait to read this. Like, she just sounds like an incredible FMC, and if you have read this, please let me know your thoughts down below. I know so many people love this book, and I am a little bit apprehensive because I don't really read sci-fi. I love sci-fi movies, but books, however, I'm always too intimidated by them. So let me know your thoughts. Do you think I will love this? Do you recommend it? I would really love to know, but I'm excited to read this nevertheless, and this will be getting bumped up my TBR because it just sounds perfect, honestly. And then the last book is one that I would consider technically villainous. She's a villain in some people's eyes, is what I will say, and that is The Crimson Moth by Kristen Cicerelli. So our main character is this vapid socialite by day, but a vigilante witch by night. She is trying to save witches and get them to safety, because in this world, witches are hunted and killed. Nobody knows she is a witch, and no one knows she's the Crimson Moth, who is this very revered witch. She ends up entangled with this world's best witch hunter. She knows that. He suspects she's the Crimson Moth, but also she's very good at getting him off her trail. They embark kind of on this romance that kind of starts off as not being genuine, because both of them are just trying to play the other. It's very much a game of cat and mouse, and yeah, they do fall in love. Now, this isn't strictly like a villainous romance, but at the same time, like, she's kind of a villain in like the world's eyes in this story, but is she really? Is she really? So yeah, I would definitely recommend this if you like enemies to lovers cat and mouse games, you like witches and a really, really cool magic system, then I would definitely recommend this. It's young adult, it is very, very good, there's lots of tension, it is such a fun time. So yes, those are all of the books I would recommend if you like a good fantasy where the main character is the villain, especially when she is the villain. Highly recommend. So excited to read the 2 books I mentioned that I haven't read yet, but I definitely will be soon because I love a good villainous character. There's just something about a villain that just does it for me. I just realized I said they're all fantasy. Obviously the Mindfuck series is not fantasy, but the rest are. But yeah, I would highly recommend all of these books. If you have read any of these books, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you have any books where she is the villain, please do let me know because I'm always on the hunt for more. They just do it for me like nothing else does, and I need more of them. I feel like there aren't enough books like this. There will also be another video coming soon of book recommendations where the villain gets the girl, so do look out for those if you want more villainous vibes and more enemies to lovers, dark or romantic vibes. They are coming soon, I promise. And if you have any book recommendations that fit the villain gets the girl, then also leave those down below as well. But I'm so excited to share these books with you. I'm so excited to hear which books you enjoyed that are similar, and I hope you did enjoy these book recommendations. If you would like to see more book recommendation videos from me, please let me know in the comments and let me know which like tropes or whatever you would like to see recommendations for. I really miss giving book recommendations because I did that a lot as a bookseller, and I really do miss being able to recommend books, especially for tropes. So if you do have any that you would like to see from me, let me know and I shall film them for you. But I hope you did get some good books to read today, and I will have all of these books listed in the description box along with the links to all of my social media, so that's where you'll find my Bookstagram, my book talk and any other relevant things. I will also link my Patreon down below, and that's where you'll find early access to videos such as this one, along with reading vlogs, a bi-monthly book club, hauls, unboxings, a Discord, live shows, lots of other stuff. It's all on my Patreon. There's also exclusive Vanilla Moon book club bookmarks available if you are a Supermoon patron and up, so if you are interested in any of that, you can head down below. I'll also link my Etsy store where I sell bookmarks if you would be interested in those. It is currently closed, but I shall be reopening it soon for autumn with some new designs which I'm very excited about, and I will also link any other relevant things down below. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you're all safe and well. I hope you're reading lots of good books, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.